Hi, my name is Engineer Daniel. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we'll be talking about page structure of HTML for a good responsive web page. The aim of this video. The aim of this video is knowing the best way we can structure our web page in order to have a good, beautiful and responsive web page. To begin, let's start with defining what HTML is all about. HTML is a short for Hypertext Markup Language. All web page must contain HTML. This tells us that HTML is important when building a web page. HTML does not give our web page a complete touch. It needs other technologies like CSS and JavaScript. CSS is Cascading Style Sheet. To become a full responsive web page, HTML needs other technologies like CSS and JavaScript. But based on the scope of this video, we will be limited to only explaining what HTML and HTML elements are all about. To learn more on CSS and JavaScript, check my video on YouTube channel as I have a special video for CSS and JavaScript. Alright, now getting started with HTML, we need a code editor and a browser. In this video, we'll be using Chrome as the browser and I'll be using Visual Studio Code as the code editor.
Now, go to HTML and type HTML5. Good. A boilerplate will open. There are several ways you can open this boilerplate. To learn those ways, kindly check my YouTube channel. I have a video that I did that shows you how you can use different methods to open this boilerplate. To continue, remember in this video I told you that I'm going to show you the best way to structure your web page for a responsive web page. So now this is a boilerplate. Here we have the doc type HTML. We have the HTML, the head, the body. Now, boilerplate. To structure your web page for a good responsive web page, the main thing that is needed here, we have two main elements: the head and the body. The head and the body. So, as you can see, this is the head. As you can see, this is our head and this is our body. So these two elements is very important, the head and the body. Now let me explain. The head is the place that contain most of the functions that we'll be needing. For example, the method gives some instructions and the title here is found on the head, which shows the description of the title of the document we are working on. Then here we can also have something like link. We can have something like link, which is linking our HTML web page to another technology like CSS style. This can also link to an icon, font awesome icon, bootstrap icon, or any other things. It can link to so many things. So is linked with this. You can find anything you want to link it with. Anything. So there are a lot of links. So it's found, all these things are found on the head. They are not shown on the body. Now the body is the area that we put all the necessary things that is going to be found on a web page. For example, if I say H1 and I say welcome to my page. Now, when I view this on the live server, good, opening with live server, good. This is welcome to our web page, and this is the document, which is the title. So let's go back to this. So let's check this, let's change this title to our first web page. Good. I've changed this title to our first web page. Our first web page. Let's see what we have here. Our first web page. Okay. There is a mistake here. Title. Let's just say our page. Good. Our page. So a title is just giving this thing a title, saying that this is going to be the title that I'll be using for this project. Good. Now you can see the thing we wrote on the body was found here in the body. That is how the function of the body worked. Now everything will be lighting now, everything will be coding, will all be found on the body of this element. Now, for a good responsive web page, to structure your web page, the first thing we have inside the body here, we have a header. Good. Then we have, okay, let me put it again. We have the header. Good. Then the next thing, inside this header, we may wish to have img. That means an image. Then after inserting the image, we may wish to have a navigation bar. Here is where we can put our navigation bar. Okay, so these are what we can actually have on the head. So now after the head, we can have another one. We can say main. Good. Inside the main, we can have sections. Section. Now this will be the first section of the web page. Any web page can have as many as sections. You can even have up to 50 or 100 sections. It just depends on you. But just specify it as a section. In each section, you may wish to have maybe the first section. You want the first section to contain a form. Then you just put a form. That's all. Or you ask yourself how many div is going to be in that section. You may say you need like 3 different div. The first div, you want the first div to be have a form. You put the form here. Then that is for the first section. Then the second div, you can just put div there. And you wanted to insert a video. You just say video. Good. Then you can also create another div. Just type div. Maybe you want to insert an audio. Start audio. Good. So these are just different div inside a section, one section. Now you can choose to duplicate this section into 2 or 3. Now this section, we have about 3 sections here. The first section that contains a div and a form. The second section that contains a div and a video. and the talk section that contain an audio. So these are different ways you can choose to put your main. Now after the main, there is another one that is very important for us, which is the footer. Good. Footer can also contain a section or probably a div. So you can just say a div and then you specify what you want to be on a div. You may even wish to have another div or even another div. That means this will be the biggest container, the parent container, then this will be a child container, and then this will be another child container inside this first child container. So you can choose to have, another div here. That means you have two child to this person and two of them is a sibling to themselves. So these are a different way you can structure our footer, then structure our main, and also structure our header. So let's have an example of this. Now let's call the header. This is the header. We can have a class. Of container here. We can have a class of container. So let's go to our style or CSS. We can remove this app. We can delete the app.js. We don't need it for this project. We don't need it. So let's delete it. Yes, let's delete it. So let's have only CSS and HTML. Now we just added a header with a class of container. So now let's go to our CSS and let's call .container. Good. Now let's put a bracket. If you want to call an element, the best way to do this is just to come here and copy it. Copy, Ctrl C, copy. Then come to the brace and say dot, Ctrl V. Good. Because if you do it like this, even if there is a mistake, it will still work. So if you don't spell the container very well, it will still work, because whatever you have on the HTML must correspond to whatever you have on the CSS. Good. Now let's give this a background. Let's give the background color of blue, and then let's give it a text, a color of white. Good. Let's give it a height. Let's give it a height of 200 pixels. Then let's give it pixels, PS. Then let's give it a width. Let's give it a width of 90%. Okay, so let's see what we have here. So let's go back to HTML. Then let's open with live server. Good. This is now the header that we have created. We gave it a 90%, meaning that from here to here should be 90%. The total screen is 100%. It should take 90% and leave us with 10%. If we minimize these two, it will still be 90%. Even if you reduce the screen size, it will continually be 90%. So it's good for responsive. So I advise you to not always use percentage to calculate the total screen size and display it. Either you minimize or you reduce the screen size to still take that percentage. So using percentage is more beneficial. You can check my videos to learn more on how you can make your website be responsive using media query. Alright, let's continue. Now, going back to our code, we now have the header. We now have the header. Now, good. Now, let's call the section here. Now we have the header for the. Let's go back. Let's go to the main. So inside the main now, we have sections, different sections. So let's talk to the main and say class main page. Good. Now, as I told you earlier, the best thing is to copy this and do Ctrl C, then come to CSS and we do dot Ctrl V. Good. So let's copy this. Let's copy this. Control. You can do Ctrl C to copy. Ctrl C. Then you can come here and do Ctrl V to paste. So let's change color. Let's change color. Let's change color. Let's change the height to 90 view points. 90 viewpoints. Then the width. Let's leave the width. Okay. Good. So look at what exactly what we have here. What we have here. So the body, the main have taken this width and this height, ranging from here to this place. That is very good. Now we can, okay, let's go back to index. Now we have given our main a class of main page and we have already styled it a class of main page. That is why we have this displayed like this. Good. Let's go back to our HTML. Let's go to the footer that we created. Remember, this is the footer we have. So inside this footer, let's create a class of my footer. In HTML, you can't type a word close to themselves like this. It won't make sense. Either we use a hyphen to specify it. Good. Now you can now copy this once more. Ctrl C to copy. Ctrl C to copy. Then go back to style. Remember, you first do dots before you paste. Good. Then you put your curly bracket. And now we can now copy the same thing here. Copy the same thing here. And then we paste here. Ctrl V. We paste. Now we can now reduce this. We can now reduce this to 10. And then this will be remain the same. Then let's change the color of this to black. Let's change the color to black. And then that is it. Here we go. Here we go. Let's check what we have here. Good. Now this is now the footer. This is now the footer. So this is the header. This is the main, and this is now the footer. So once we are able to structure our web page like this, it will be very, very easy for us to have a good responsive web page. When we start our designing, it will not be difficult for us because we have already structured the page, having the header, having the main and having the footer. We can choose to input some text. For example, let's come to the header and say, let's come to the header. After the image, let's have H1 and let's say, welcome to our web page. Good. Welcome to our web page. That is for the header. Now let's go to the main too. Inside the section, inside the first section, yeah, let's have we are your sure plug for technology. We are your sure plug for technology. This is now written on the main. Now we can also go over to the section for the footer, and then inside this div we will choose to have a div here, which will now say, let's have a div. Okay. Thanks for checking on us. Thanks for checking on us. So that is what we have for the footer. Let's check it out. Good. Thanks for checking on us. So this is now found on the footer. Then the other one is found on the main, and this is found on the header. So we can now start adding a whole lot of things the way we want it. We can decide to maximize it so you can see it very well. We have the welcome to our page found on the header. Are you sure? Okay, we are your sure plug for technology found on the main. And then the last one, thanks for checking on us, found on the footer. So this is just how we can structure our web page for a good and beautiful responsive web page.
Alright fans, thank you for staying to the end of this video. Hope you like it. Kindly click on the subscribe button. Also click on the notification button to get notified each time I upload a new video. Hope to see you next time.